Etefu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer, may Buddha bless you, Grand Rising. This is Qesankh Keperu with another exciting video for you. In this video, we're going to talk about the secret mantra that can change your life. But before I go into that, I want you to hit the like button. If this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you're interested in knowing more about my spiritual teachings, you can scroll down below, click on any one of the links, and download a free ebook today. However, if you want to follow that rabbit down the rabbit hole and learn more, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It's up to you. You can cancel it anytime. You'll get exclusive access to instructional videos that will answer the question, are we alone in the universe? Videos that teach you how to invoke spirits, communicate with the ancestors, do self-hypnosis to curb negative habits, put together a magical amulet, astral project. And if you're a Sarah level supporter, you'll get all your oracle readings for free. So become a Patreon supporter today. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. So, Haru Nefer, hope you're having a good day. Hope everything is working well. The sun was out shining very hot today, and I took my ferrets in my car and we were driving it to do some errands. And Razzie, he's the oldest of the three ferrets. To my amazement, I went to get a salad out of this restaurant. He was very well behaved. We went into the restaurant, we waited for our salad, and usually he'll get anxious and all the smells there will distract him and he'll move around, but no, he was passive. Now, I bring that up to just touch on a little bit about how we used to operate in antiquity. You see, the Kemetan people and the African people communicated with animals on a very psychic level. And this is using the deities Nekabet and Wajet, but more specifically, certain frequencies, mantras that were associated with those deities, or those energies, I should say. And this allowed us to tame these animals without having to use a whip or a chain, as you see in the commercials, the lion tamer. You see, we were one with nature and one with all. And the left brain, which is predominantly how Western European man operates, not only is based on linear time space, but it also looks at things in terms of a hierarchy. So if you look at King Arthur's round table, that's not a left brain thought process. It's more of a right brain, because everybody that sat, all the knights that sat on the round table, specifically what he said, were equal. But when you have a square table, as they would typically do in the kingdoms, those are indications of the left brain thinking, because it indicates someone's at the head of the table, a hierarchy, or the totem pole. We didn't see things in terms of a hierarchy. In fact, we saw things as operating together interdependently in interrelationships. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. There were certain hierarchies. I mean, we did have a king and queen and priestesses and all that. But I want you to understand the connection that we had with nature. So there was no need to chastise animals, put them in cages, put them in zoos, and these animals would not attack us unless we transgressed and did something wrong. But we knew how to psychically communicate with them. The same thing would be in war. We would psychically communicate with the opposing army, and we could get them to throw down their weapons and things like that. But there was a cost to doing that because there's always karma. So this power wasn't used frivolously. It was used as a last resort. And today I had a Zoom call that I don't think it went well, not due to my fault, but you know, I had other things on my mind while I was doing the Zoom call. And one of the things that has been nagging me recently is that when we look at all these other races and cultures, you know, I had to remind somebody of this because it was over an issue of passports. Someone said that if you travel, because, you know, there's a whole movement now where you have Black men getting passports to go overseas to date or marry women in Brazil, Colombia, Cuba, Venezuela, Dominican Republic. So they would get their passports and go over there and hook up with those women there. So I was on a panel discussion, and one of the guys, he wasn't referring to me, but he was talking to someone else on the panel. And he said, let us not forget that if these brothers go overseas and marry these women or hook up with these women, that these women don't have our culture. Only the ADOS, so African American women here, or FBA, have our culture here. And that's when I kind of interjected and I reminded this individual that here in North America, there is no Black culture. What you see is a toxic, dysfunctional culture, but there is no Black culture. And I said that those brothers and sisters overseas, be they Afro-Cuban, Afro-Brazilian, Afro-Colombian, and what have you, have managed to keep some vestige of our culture due to the language. You'll see this in things like the carnival. You know, you'll see this in their veneration of the ancestors. They do have part of our African heritage intact, more so than we have here. In fact, these agents, the, you know, CIA and all that, have made sure to eradicate our culture here in North America. But you'll see that it still exists overseas. And if these brothers and sisters decide to hook up with people overseas, they will be marrying into a rich culture, one that supports family, that doesn't look down upon the so-called patriarchy or the nuclear family. In fact, BLM made it their mission to destroy the nuclear family. They made this well known. So I had to remind this gentleman on the panel that there is no culture. And this is the thing that has caused me a great deal of deliberation lately. And it's not because the culture doesn't exist here. It does. But it's because we do everything to avoid it. You see, the Kemetic culture exists here, but it exists in the exclusive community, a niche. The Yoruba religion exists in a niche. Santeria exists in a niche. And those niches rightly should be mainstream religions of ADOS people, African Americans here in this country, but it's not. So what is the culture? We support the white supremacist culture of hip hop and Christianity and Catholicism and Judaism and Islam. Those are not our religions. Those are not our cultures. And the mere fact that we are supporting them and giving our money to them enriches white supremacy. And that bothers me a great deal, because instead of us gravitating that, and it's not all our fault, because the media has done a great job of propaganda of making voodoo look evil, Yoruba look evil, Santeria look evil. But when you start to study these religions, you'll see that they are based on love and light. Like in the African tradition, you could walk around naked. A woman could walk around naked and no one accost her. She would not be raped, fondled, or anything, catcalled. But here in Western culture, because the body is so perverted in its depictions in mainstream media by fundamental Christians, it is seen as sinful. Therefore, we clothe ourselves. Yet the Bible says the garden, that Adam and Eve were nude. So, and when they came into the knowledge of good and evil, they were ashamed of their nudity. The Christians don't understand this and make the correlation between African culture of a woman walking around naked. In fact, Herodotus, the Greek historian, when he went to ancient Egypt, wrote about how shocked he was that the people walked around naked, that the children walked around naked and were not accosted. So I'm telling you, we're doing something fundamentally wrong in what we're supporting. We can't be half gangsters, as my mentor once told me. You're either all in or you're all out. You can't go to a Christian church and pray to a Christian God and say that you're for the end of white supremacy. That doesn't work. Because the structures that have created these Christian churches are based on evil and monetary gain alone. If they had been based on true love and light, I would say go to the church on Sunday, but they're not. One of the most powerful things, well, two of the most powerful things that we practice in our religion, which allowed us to achieve the heights of civilizations, were two things: the oracle system and the mastery of harmonics, of sound frequencies, also known as mantras or cows or words of power. And it perplexes me to this day how we still don't work with the mantras, how we still don't work with the oracles. The oracle is a communication to God. The mantra is the way to shift to parallel realities. Why isn't this mainstream among our people? Why is it that when we get in a bind, we call out to Jesus, but we don't recite a mantra? This is very troubling when you think about it, because mantras are based on the manipulation of frequencies. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency. If you understand that frequency, then you master that thing. This is why certain priests, warlocks, witches would have a secret name, and you would never know that name. Hence, to know the name would be to gain power over them. So we have to start getting back to our tradition, our culture. And one of the things that Ra Unefa Amen came up with, based on the goddess Sekert, the goddess who commanded the 72 words of power, the mantras, was publishing his work of the Metu Neta Volume 6, the Ra Initiation System. And in this system, he included the 72 words of power by Sekert. And these 72 words of power will give you mastery over things. If you wanted to become a gymnast, you could chant a mantra that will give you the skill of a top gymnast. If you wanted to master mathematics, there would be a mantra for that. If you wanted to be good in art, there was a mantra for that. If you wanted to be a good astronomer, there was a mantra for that. If you wanted to be good at programming, there was a mantra for that. The same if you go to India. They have a mantra for everything in India. Now, this doesn't preclude doing the physical work. You must still learn software programs. You must still take art classes. But if you recite the mantra, you'll find that you'll excel in these endeavors. And his book comes with a CD of the 72 words of power. So you will know how to accurately pronounce them. And there's a booklet in here as well. You see, I jumped on this very early on in my priesthood career because I knew by reading books by Francis Bacon and all those others, great magicians, that they were using mantras, words of power, to invoke genii. A genii is a spirit that has a particular expertise in a field. If you want to know how to be invisible, which the ninjas practice using the Kujikiri system, the power of invisibility, they use Kujikiri where we would use a mantra. And I actually met, well, I was roommates with a gentleman who excelled in this field of invisibility. So much so that he would frighten me. He even did a demonstration to prove it, how good he was. That he would walk up to me in a crowded airport and put a book in my pouch, and I would never see him. And he did, and I was amazed. But this is hard for the Western mind to believe. But when you're mastering frequency, quantum physicists will tell you this is science fact, because nothing is solid. We have to get back to this magical practices that were once practiced all over the world. But because the Western man or the European man, in conjunction with an evil force, got together to dominate the planet and murder priests and priestesses and to eradicate whole civilizations. You think George Lucas's film with the Emperor giving Order 66 was fictional? No, George Lucas was an insider. So if there is something in life that you want, there's no need to pray for it. There is a mantra for it. And by reciting the mantra, that thing can become yours. If you pick the right mantra. Now in transcendental meditation, when you start taking that, the guru will give you a mantra, but that may be an unproven mantra. These mantras date back thousands of years, and they have been proven to work. There is like power sitting before us, and we're crying, someone help me, someone help me, someone help me. And we're looking everywhere for the help instead of what is directly in front of us. Our own culture, our own religion is waiting to embrace us. This should be Kemet Nation. You should be working with the Port Neteru, the Tree of Life. You should be consulting the oracles on a regular basis. You should be chanting the mantra to work on an objective, whether it be money, a mate, or what have you. And there are a number of money mantras that work fairly quickly that I've used. But you're distracted because you think hip hop is the culture of Black people, when it is based on Satanism, the hip hop that's out there today. I remember I was walking down the strip and a brother in front of me was playing some beats. And the beats were cool. I was listening to some interesting beats. And I said to myself, wait a minute. There's some satanic messages in there, because I can pick it up on a different frequency. And I was like, oh, whoa, that is very satanic. And I had to distance myself so I couldn't hear that music. I was like, is this for real? And I almost wanted to ask him, like, where did that beat come from? Who created that beat? Very satanic. I mean, it disturbed my soul. But this is what the record companies are putting out. See, they don't want you to know it, because it lowers your vibration to the Saturnian energy, making you more earth-based, materialistic, concrete in thinking, so you can service them and be a slave to this system. Whereas the mantras are of a higher frequency, of the God frequency. They are your key to salvation. People, believe me what I'm saying. You're listening to idiots. I'm going to say it again. You're listening to the dumbest of the dumb. What's that movie, Dumb and Dumber? That is, Dumb and Dumber is Joel Osteen and Creflo Dollar. Dumb and Dumber. These people are dumb. Joel Osteen doesn't even quote from the Bible. He just gives you a motivational talk. He doesn't teach from the Bible. And you follow these evil men and women. T.D. Jakes is an evil man. Not because I say it. I've gone to the oracles to ask the oracle comment on T.D. Jakes. This is why they got rid of the oracles. So you could not out the king or the president or the emperor. If I killed the king and said, I am the new king, God says I should be king, how would you know that's true? Because I said God said it? No, you would go to the oracle and find out if it's true. And if you came up and said, Qesankh, we want to do an oracle reading just to validate that, I'll be like, sure, do the oracle reading. And then I go to my guards, kill him and get rid of that oracle. That's what they did. The oracles will set you on a different path in your life. It will reveal obstacles. Everybody's worried about this relationship drama. I don't go through that. I see a woman and I do oracle reading, and oracle says, stay away from her. And I stay away from her. I see another woman, the oracle says, go court her. And I go court her. No relationship drama there. No baby mama drama. So you guys have already jumped in relationships, had a bunch of babies, now talking about the child support system and all this. Well, you wouldn't have had to deal with all of that if you had the oracle and you did the oracle reading before you even touched that person. Now, don't think the oracles is a restrictive life. The oracle is not going to tell you, don't do this. It will merely just point out that if you do this, here are the ramifications. Now make your decision. Because God respects you as another God. And as God, man, God, woman, you have a free will to do whatever you want, even ignore God. Isn't that wonderful? You even have the freedom to ignore God. But we want things difficult in our life. We want to keep white supremacy going. We want to keep making these pimp pastor ministers multimillionaires. We want to get in more baby mama drama. All this could be alleviated if we follow the Kemetic way of life. I'm not asking you to accept a religion. I don't follow a religion. I follow what works. And if something doesn't work, throw it away and jump onto something else. I was studying Japanese black magic. I loved it. I found something that works better. I jumped on something else. Ancestors led me to it. Ancestors said, there's this goddess named Ma'at that wants to talk to you. I was like, Ma'at? Who's Ma'at? Yeah, okay, sure, I'll talk to her. I met her. She says, I'm your mother, and you need to be a priest. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm a filmmaker. I'm not going to be a priest. That's not going to happen. She goes, oh, it's going to happen. I was like, oh, no, it's not going to happen. Next thing I know, I'm sitting in a temple in Brooklyn. I'm like, how the hell did I get here? How did that happen? But then again, I've always wanted to try and make my life as easy as possible. Not to be like Sebek and do less work, but to just avoid drama, unnecessary obstacles. If you can give me a mantra or something that said, hey, if you recite this mantra, it'll bring you what you want, I would do that. I would do that. Hey, if you throw this oracle reading, it'll tell you what's behind that door. Oh, okay, I'm going to do that. But there's some people who want to do guesswork. They just want to open that door without looking first through the peephole. And then they get their butt kicked. We're in this state and condition that we're in due to our own faults. I'm going to say it again. We're in the state that we're in today due to our own faults. You know who we have to blame for all of this? Go look in the mirror. Because I cannot say it any other way. somebody comes to me and they say this and that and that. I said, well, did you do oracle reading on that? No. I said, then why are you coming to me with trying to argue with me? Did you do an oracle reading on it? Don't argue with me. Do an oracle reading first, then come to me with the oracle reading, because then you have some ammunition. Otherwise, shut up. We'll have an issue with something you said. Did you do an oracle reading? If not, it's just your own opinion. And you can go kick rocks with your own opinion. How could you say this person is wrong and not the right person to work with? Well, because the oracle said so. Not me. God said so. The oracle reading said so. I like that. Eat healthy or die suffering. I love that. Darn. I got to make that into there should be a book. Eat healthy or die suffering. That should be a title of a book. That's cool. Anyway, if you could find it, if it's still in print, get Metanoia Volume 6. Comes with the CD. Oops, upside down. Comes with the CD, 72 Words of Power. The 72 Words of Power from Qesankh, the goddess. And anything you want to achieve in life, there is a mantra for it. And there's more than 32 mantras. Believe me, go to India, you'll find that out. There's a ton of mantras. They're the masters of ancient mantras. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Please, if you are in the position to donate to the channel, please do so. And don't forget to hit the like button. This is Qesankh Ma Keperu, so Ma Ntahudi. My aunt is the beautiful goddess Hedaru. Until my next broadcast, Amen Ra.